Have you ever been on the receiving end of that slow head to toe stare? It's not curiosity, it's a power move. And Meghan was caught on camera doing it at the Broom Farm visit in November 2019. At this point, tensions inside the palace were sky high. Meghan had just said she was not okay after the Africa tour, and by late November, she and Harry were already planning their Canada getaway. The cracks were showing even if the public didn't know it yet. In one clip, Harry chats with a guest. Meghan stops mid conversation, gestures for Harry's attention, then scans the woman from head to toe. That head to toe look is classic narcissistic behavior. It's part status check, part intimidation, part mean girl display. It's a silent way of saying, I see you and I'm sizing you up. These stares can make people feel scrutinized and shrink in the moment. That's the point. But here's the thing, the power of that stare only works if you let it knock your confidence. Hold your ground, keep your gaze steady, and steer the interaction back to the conversation, not the silent evaluation. Clips don't lie. And once you spot this dynamic, you can't unsee it. Let's get into all of this, but before we begin, here's the intro.
Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe.
Hi, everyone. What I want to do is show you a clip from November 2019. It's from the event that the Daily Mail article is referencing here. It happened early November 2019. It's when Harry and Meghan were visiting the Broom Farm Community Center and visiting with children of military families. The way I'm going to structure this video is I'm going to show you the clip without sound, and I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let you watch the full thing, and then I'm going to break it down with what I see. I'm going to compare it to another instance where Meghan displayed this same mean girl behavior. And then I want to talk about the timeline, what was happening between Harry and Meghan at that time, how a narcissist responds to things that are happening in the way that they were happening at the end of 2019. And then I want to talk about why narcissists do this head to toe stare, how it feels to be on the receiving end, and how to counteract it, not just in the moment, but after you walk away. Because having someone look at you like this really shakes you up. And especially if it's something that is done consistently, like every single time you meet this person, they stare you head to toe in a judgmental, in a mean girl fashion. It's really important to decompress after that. So that will be how I will end this video. So without further ado, I'm going to go on mute. I'm going to show you that clip, and then we are going to talk all about it. I would love it if you pause the video here and drop your thoughts in the comments what you are seeing, because I wonder if you are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And then come back to the video and I'm going to go through it with what I see. So here's the clip that I made, and I paused and zoomed in and slowed down at moments that I thought were important. So here you see Meghan is having a conversation with the lady in the glasses, and Harry is talking to someone across from him. But it turns out that someone on the other to the left of Harry gets Harry's attention. Now look how Meghan's body language changes. She shifts her body to the opposite side. I'm going to pause here really quick. So her knees are originally facing towards Harry, but then when she's doing this body switch, they go to the opposite side. It doesn't make sense at first, right? Like you would think that she would shift her body towards Harry, so her knees are facing Harry in this moment where she's trying to interrupt this interaction that's happening. However, what is happening, and I think what the important thing is, that she's facing one direction and she does the opposite movement to change her direction, to change her focus to the other side. So I think it's less important which direction her knees are actually facing, but the fact that she does a 180 flip to show that she's going to move her gaze, move her interaction and her focus to the opposite side. Let's continue. So Harry speaks to that lady. Meghan has moved over, and Meghan does that thing with her arm. I think she's trying to get Harry's attention. Let's pause here again. How incredibly rude is this that mid conversation, Meghan is talking to this woman, and mid conversation, she just stops talking. And I want to say that I'm very grateful for this because Meghan is so easy to read. And I'm grateful that a lot of these manipulative and toxic personalities behave in the same way because we can catch it once we see it in one, we can see it in so many, and it's so wonderful that really the body language doesn't lie, and they can only stay hidden for so long before the intention comes out, before the mask slips. So let's continue. Meghan fixes her hair. She pretends like she's looking over to the person on Harry's right, but I don't think she's actually doing that. So here we go. And Meghan then looks at the lady, looks her up and down. She stares her up and down. And then there's a child, I think, that's by that blonde lady that Meghan then focuses her attention on, almost trying to give an excuse of why she moved her body language, of why she moved her body. Let's watch the clip now, the original clip from beginning to end without any interruptions. You see Meghan is chatting. Harry sees that other lady and starts looking over at her. And almost immediately, Meghan shifts, changes her focus, starts looking over in the other direction, gazes the woman up and down, and then you'll see her try to interact with a child that's over there. It's unbelievable, right? Sometimes, I don't know, if you could see me right now, I am shaking my head, SMH. This video reminds me of another clip that I've made. I'm going to play that right now. This clip in particular is from October 2018 in Africa. And what you'll see is Meghan starts talking to the lady in the black and white dress, and she does the same thing. Here, let me play it again. Oops. You'll see Meghan does the same thing, looks her up, stares her, sizes her up from head to toe, or maybe it's from toe to head. It's a little bit of both. It's looking at the head, going down to the toe, and then glancing back up again. I want to say that all of you are just so observant because I made this clip. It was one of the earliest clips I made when I started this channel. And many of you spotted that Omid Scobie's in the background here. Let's get into the timeline now. Harry and Meghan had just come back from their South Africa tour that was in October 2019, where Meghan told ITV that she was not okay. Here's that clip here.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year has been like.
Yeah, well, I guess, and also thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay, but it's a very real thing to be going through behind the scenes.
And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay? As in, it's really been a struggle.
Yes.
A lot of people were critical of Meghan for saying this because she took a royal event and made it about herself. But from their perspective, from Harry and Meghan's perspective, and this is based off of Spare, Harry's autobiography, they were both feeling isolated, exhausted, and frustrated at what they saw as a lack of palace support, and they felt that there was constant press intrusion. By November 2019, they had decided to take an extended break in Canada over the holidays to get distance from the royal spotlight. Now, I just want to say this is a big deal because that Christmas holiday, Harry and Meghan were not at Sandringham. Harry's entire life, I don't think he's ever missed a Christmas at Sandringham until November 2019. So you can see the isolation and the separation was already beginning back then. Actually, it was beginning a long time before that, but to the public, we could see that this was something we hadn't seen before, that Harry and Meghan, or Harry specifically, didn't attend holidays at Sandringham with his family. Now, I want to say that according to Harry's book and according to other sources, the formal Megxit talks had not begun yet, and that came in January 2020. But I think that this was a turning point for all of us to see that they were pulling back emotionally and logistically from royal duties. So in To summarize, this Broom Farm visit happened at the tail end of a tense autumn when Harry and Meghan were already looking for a way out. The public didn't know yet about their plans, but behind the scenes, they were disillusioned, preparing for their Canada escape, and the cracks in relationships inside the family were widening. When someone with narcissistic traits feels this kind of frustration, feeling judged, unsupported, or under a spotlight, they often react by trying to control what they can, the people closest to them. That can mean watching their partner like a hawk, interrupting conversations, stepping in physically, or giving sharp looks meant to shut things down. It's less about protecting the partner and more about easing their own anxiety and keeping the focus where they want. The partner usually starts to adjust to keep the peace, maybe cutting conversations short, avoiding eye contact with others, or just shrinking a little so they don't spark tension. Over time, that can leave them feeling isolated, unsure of themselves, and way too focused on not upsetting the other person. When all this is happening during a big life change, like planning a move or pulling away from family, it gets even trickier. The stress ramps up the controlling behavior, and the move itself deepens the isolation by putting distance between the partner and their usual support system. This mix of stress, control, and separation can quietly turn into a really unhealthy dynamic where one person feels stuck under the other's watchful eye. And I mean, you can see from all of this that's happening, this is a dangerous situation. Not just for Harry and Meghan. The purpose of my channel, so many people say, why do you talk about Harry and Meghan? And why do you even focus on them? Let's not give them any airtime. I like to think that what we're doing here, a lot of Megxiters and including myself, is shining a light on these behaviors. What is happening between Harry and Meghan is not unique. These dynamics play out in everyday relationships all over the world, and they can be romantic, they can be in friendships, they can be professionally and with family. So, using them as a tool, I think, is incredibly valuable. I also get comments like, why are you looking at clips from so long ago? And I remember someone once said, you focus too much on what happened previously. You're not talking about current events. It is from history that we learn, right? The best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. So if you can understand how someone behaved previously, and especially if this person has no intention of changing, doesn't acknowledge that they are in the wrong, in fact, thinks that everybody else is wrong, then that's a really good way to see what's going to come in the future and to prepare yourself for that. I also want to mention here that there are so many amazing channels on YouTube that do cover the current events. So if that's what you are looking for, there are just so many that do it. The Sidley twins, Dan Wooten, Royal Daily Tea, Sue Smith, Steph the Alternerd, they are so amazing at capturing, and Resting Dollface, they are so amazing at capturing what is happening currently and connecting all of these emotional dots. But anyways, that was that was a long tangent I went on. So now let's discuss this actual head to toe stare and why narcissists do it. So this what we're talking about specifically is a slow, deliberate head to toe scan, and it's not the same as a casual glance. It's a nonverbal evaluation, silently sizing someone up. And narcissists use it for three different reasons. The first is status checking. They're scanning clothes, posture, body language, anything they can use to rank the other person against themselves. It's a quick, silent comparison. It's asking, where do I stand next to you? It's power and intimidation. The stare can feel invasive because it treats the other person as an object to be inspected rather than an equal. Holding eye contact after the scan or letting the gaze linger works like a silent message. It's like saying, I see everything about you. And it's also for finding weak spots. A narcissist's insecurity makes them hyper alert for flaws or leverage points, such as in someone else's appearance, demeanor, or nervousness. Anything they can use later for judgment or gossip. And finally, it is ultimately mean girl display. This bottom to top or top to bottom glance can be a covert way to signal rivalry. It communicates competition without using a single word, and it's often paired with a half smile or tight lips. Here is the psychology behind it. It is objectification. It reduces the target to looks or status markers rather than treating them as a full person. There's microaggression. It delivers a social jab without saying anything overtly rude. It's a control cue. It can subtly knock the target's confidence. They may start adjusting their clothes, posture, or behavior, which shifts the power dynamic toward the one doing the scanning. And how does it feel on the receiving end? Most people notice it instantly. It feels like they're being visually dissected. Targets often describe a flash of self-consciousness, or discomfort, even if the stare only lasts a second or two. That reaction is exactly what makes the behavior effective as a dominance tool. Here are 3 ways to counteract the stare in the moment. Hold your ground. Keep your posture tall, shoulders back, chin level. Avoid fidgeting or crossing your arms to hide. The goal is to look comfortable in your own skin, which signals I'm not intimidated. Control your gaze. Don't follow their eyes as they scan you. That gives them power. Meet their eyes briefly with a neutral expression, about 2 or 3 seconds, to acknowledge that you noticed. Then shift your gaze naturally to something else, like a person you're speaking to or your notes. This shows calm confidence without inviting a stare down. Redirect the interaction. Move the focus back to the actual conversation. Ask a question, introduce a new topic, or gesture towards something relevant in the environment. By steering the moment, you signal that your words and presence, not your appearance, set the tone. The key idea here is that the power of the stare comes from making you feel scrutinized. If you stay composed, don't adjust yourself for them, and keep the interaction on your terms, the stare loses its impact. Now let's talk about 3 ways to recover emotionally after experiencing this kind of stare, because it can really throw a person off, especially if it's someone that you meet consistently and every time you meet them you anticipate this stare. Remind yourself that it wasn't about you. Narcissistic stares are often about control or competition, not a real judgment of your worth. Tell yourself, that was their behavior and not my reflection. This helps release any shame or self-blame you may be holding. Discharge the stress physically. Do something that lets your nervous system settle, a short walk, rolling your shoulders, or even shaking out your hands. These quick physical resets help your body drop the tension from that moment so it doesn't carry forward. Ground and recenter. Close your eyes for a minute and focus on slow breaths or something you can see, hear, or touch, like the feel of your feet on the floor right now. If you have time later, jot down your feelings in a journal, naming what happened, and that can help to stop it from replaying in your head. The goal is to separate their behavior from your identity. Calm your body's stress response and reclaim your mental space so you're not bracing for the next encounter. I'm curious to know what you all think about this. If you feel comfortable sharing, please drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to let you know that we are inching closer and closer to 50,000 subscribers. I'm so honored. I've mentioned this. I've been talking about it almost every single day in my last few videos, and it's just I'm speechless. But it's happening, and we're getting there, and I'm so excited. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching these videos.
If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.